Coming up next on the Commissioner's Report, we are going to be talking about Lake Wales, and Commissioner Melony Bell will join us for that discussion. She does have the mayor as her special guest as well. And right after that segment, we're going to be speaking to Commissioner Ed Smith, and he's going to be talking about Polk City. Don't go anywhere. The Commissioner's Report is coming up right now. You're watching the Commissioner's Report. I'm your host, Kevin Watler, and Commissioner Melony Bell joins us now, and she's going to speak about some things that's going on in Lake Wales. And we're also joined by the mayor of Lake Wales, that's Mayor Eugene Fultz. Hello, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Glad to be here.
So, Commissioner Bell, you wanted to focus on the medical needs in Lake Wales. Why is that?
Well, it's very important that every city in Polk County has the medical needs that they need for all of our citizens. And as you know, I've been spotlighting each city in my district up till now. We're in Lake Wales, and I'm excited to be there. A lot of great things happening in Lake Wales. Has some great leadership. We're very proud of the partnerships that the county shares with the city of Lake Wales and their citizens. But I want to talk about the building for the healthcare services and the partnerships that we have signed on with the city of Lake Wales to obtain that building and allow, you know, healthcare to go in there and also to help our veterans.
Absolutely. And Mayor Fultz, I know we have this building that is pretty much, you guys are going to be expanding the medical facility. Tell me a little bit more about the you know, how that came about.
Well, I can tell you that there is an enormous need for health care in that area. And I know that Central Florida Healthcare was actually looking for a place to expand on that side of the county. They saw that building and I think fell in love with it because it's actually the ideal spot to actually render the health care that we need there. And I can tell you that the care that's coming is going to be something that the citizens are going to benefit from immensely.
Absolutely, that sounds like a very good plan. Now, we do have the video that we're going to show you now. It is from Ann Clausen. That's where we headed out to Lake Wales, and we spoke with her. She's the CEO there at the Central Florida Healthcare, and we're going to take a look at that video right now.
Lake Wales Dental Facility is on Lincoln Avenue in Lake Wales, and it was built back in 2010, and we've been seeing dental patients ever since then. It is primarily a dental clinic, and with the vision of the prior CEO and the need for dental care in Lake Wales, that's how it began. We have had the wonderful opportunity to work with the county commissioners and with Lake Wales to be able to purchase the Lake Wales Adult Daycare Center that's over on Central Avenue. We closed on that property on October 7th, 2015. We have plans in place. We have a contractor, and we will start renovations to that building in a couple weeks, and our goal is to be in that facility in the second quarter of 2016. Part of our vision was to be able to work with the free clinic in Lake Wales, as well as to work with the veterans in Lake Wales. And so with that opportunity to be able to see veterans, so the commissioners were very interested in the fact of our willingness and to be able to see the veterans, that helped us be able to purchase the Lake Wales Adult Daycare Center. What that means for Lake Wales is that we will be able to open up a 10,000 square foot building, and we'll be able to do primary care out of that building. We'll be able to do pediatrics, and also to be able to do move our dental facility over from this site to the new site. And our goal is to be able to see more patients, both on the medical side and on the dental side. We see a lot of patients that don't have insurance. We see patients that do have insurance. We work with the Polk County Indigent Care Program and see patients there, as well as Medicaid and Medicare. We're here to see any patient. We don't turn anybody away. We'll see anybody that's in need of care.
So, Commissioner Bell, what role does the Board of County Commissioners play when it came to overseeing this building?
Well, as you know, the adult daycare center was there, and we had very sparse attendance. We went out and did marketing, and eventually we couldn't get enough people there, so we ended up closing it. So we had this empty building, beautiful building there. So the commissioners discussed it several times of what to do. We put it out on the market. We were going to take bids on it. But then Ann Clausen came to us and told us her need in that community to bring the health care system there. But we're thinking about the veterans, how we could partner with the veterans. Because if you think about everything is in Lakeland, centralized over in Lakeland, not centralized for the Lake Wells East. And you think of how many miles we have from Lake Wells to the county line of the veterans having to drive over to Lakeland. So when we found out the partnership that they would include health care for the veterans, we were 100% on board with that, because you know the veterans not only gave many, many sacrifices, a lot of them gave their ultimate sacrifice for our freedom.
And one thing she did say is that anyone could use it, so whether it's veterans or people who do not have insurance, so many people do benefit from it. But while we are on the topic of veterans, Lake Wales also has something called a VFW. What is this?
It's actually a post Veterans of Foreign Wars. Anyone who's in the military and fought in a foreign war, anything that's outside of the U.S., anything that was on a foreign soil, is actually eligible for being a member of one of those posts. And I can tell you now, the VFW plays a great part in reaching out to veterans and ensuring that they get what they need after serving that time in the military.
And I know when we actually went out there to kind of see the VFW and what it was all about, there were people actually getting dinner there.
Yes, absolutely. That's one thing that I've seen at the VFW. They have reached out in multiple ways for veterans, because if there was a veteran that comes in there that needs any kind of service, they try to make sure that they send them in the right direction to get that service. I've seen veterans' families come in need of food. And not only myself, but many of the members, matter of fact, I'm a member of that post. Many members there came together and they made up food boxes in order to give those families to make sure that they could eat. So there are a myriad of needs that VFW reaches for that veteran when they come in. They don't push them off, they don't push them away, and they don't shift the responsibility. They stand to the responsibility for every veteran that comes in there.
That sounds wonderful. And there's also a stand-down event that's going to be coming up shortly. Tell me a little bit more about that.
This stand-down event, I think, is one of the greatest things that could happen in Polk County, because this is for all veterans. No matter what the need is, whether it's food, housing, clothing, medical, dental, whatever that need might be, there will be stations that will be set up there to handle each and every segment of that veteran's life as they come through, even if there are benefits that they're seeking at that time. And I think the closest, you can go to Lakeland and seek those benefits, but the closest benefits office is in Tampa. So for them to have that connection there, to be able to go there and talk with somebody about getting those benefits, I think is going to be a great need for them. And I was told that even after serving all of the veterans come first. But even after serving all of the veterans, that they were not going to send anyone away, even if they were not a veteran, if they could actually help them with the medical or dental end of it.
So where's this going to take place in Lake Wales?
This is going to take place around Lake Wales Lake, in Lake Wales, and it's going to be November 12th. And I think that's a day after Veterans Day that it will be taking place. So that carries a great significance there for it to be in conjunction with Veterans Day. And this is going to be a great thing for Lake Wales too, because many veterans in Lake Wales may not have those services because they have to travel to get to Lakeland or to get to Tampa in order to get those services. So this is going to give them an easier option in order to seek the things that they need as veterans.
And there may be people out there who want to help out, maybe volunteer. How would those people, be able to do so?
They can actually contact the VFW post, and I don't have that telephone number right now, but it's the VFW post 2420 in Lake Wales. And if you look that up, ask for the post commander, Gary Gose, and he will give you all of the information that's necessary in order for you to volunteer or receive the services.
And even though you may not have the number, we do, I'm sure we're going to have that number on right below on the screen for our viewers at home. So, of course, if you take a look at your screen now, you'll be able to see that number to get involved with that. Is there a website people could also get information from by any chance?
Well, actually, you can actually go to the city's website. I think the city is going to be have that on their website, showing that this will be one of the events that will be taking place in the city. And the VFW should have a website that's up as well, to where you can go there and take a look at any events that they have going on, whether it's something that's happening at the post itself or some grand event that's coming up that's going to involve the city or the county.
Okay, fantastic. So, is there anything else that's going on in Lake Wales that you want us to know about?
Well, there are great things that are happening in Lake Wales as far as economic development is concerned, because I can tell you now that was one of the greatest moves that the city ever made by partnering with the Lake Wales Chamber of Commerce and letting them do the economic development portion of what we needed for the city. And we've seen some great strides in that city and seen some good moves as far as businesses coming in and people beginning to see Lake Wales, I think, in a more favorable light than possibly ever before.
And I know Commissioner Bell is definitely all in favor of things going on in Lake Wales as well.
Absolutely. Lake Wales is such a beautiful city. Not only just their economic development, but also their care center. They help one another. And the Circle of Friends, if you've never been there to visit, take an hour, go by there and visit these adults, but they're children though. It's just a wonderful place.
Okay. So tell me a little bit more about this care center. We didn't really talk about that yet.
Oh yes, absolutely. I'm glad she brought that up. The care center is one of the best things that's ever happened in Lake Wales, and they've actually been there for about 30 years now. There's a director by the name of Rob Kwam. He came straight out of college and began that as a ministry there. And they actually reach out to people that are in need. They do the clothing, they do the feeding, they do housing. They do everything that's necessary for transitional families that they can actually do. And I think every church, every religious organization there in Lake Wales, they actually give to the care center, and they trust them with what they do, because the care center is very, very good at distributing what they get to the right people that are in need. The care center deals with everything from literacy to feeding, to dealing with, as I said, transitional housing, giving people a place to stay.
Really good thing going on there in Lake Wales. I do appreciate you taking the time to come on the show, Mayor Fultz. And Commissioner Bell, anything else you want to add in regards to the whole entire Lake Wales, which is part of your district, before we leave, before we head over to Commissioner Smith today?
Well, I would just like to thank my colleagues for supporting this Lake Wales Care Center, and along with the Lake Wales Medical Center, and helping the veterans out foremost, but then the citizens, because Lake Wales has needed this for many, many years. And I'm just excited to be there and have brand new partnerships with the city.
All right, thank you all for being here.
One more thing. I'd like to thank Commissioner Bell for being a champion for the city of Lake Wales and for the great causes that we have there, especially for the veterans, because I am a retired veteran myself, and I understand the need that veterans have. And I think she does too, because she champions the things that really are reaching out to touch people's lives and help change people's lives. So thank you again, Commissioner Bell.
And thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, everyone, for watching this first part of the Commissioner's Report. Coming up next, we're going to be checking in with Commissioner Smith. Mr. Smith will be here with another guest, and we're going to share something special somewhere in Polk City. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Don't worry, 74 people were picked before me in the NFL draft.
To fight childhood obesity, United Way and the NFL are helping kids play more. To donate or volunteer, go to unitedway.org/play60.
Now I get it.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. This is a serious problem, but one we can solve. Visit feedingamerica.org to help. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
We need a claim number?
When I started taking care of Mom, I didn't realize the challenge of playing so many roles. But above all, I'm still her daughter.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving. We're here to help.
Welcome back to the Commissioner's Report, and we now bring on Commissioner Ed Smith. Commissioner Smith.
Thank you, Kevin. You know, this is something I've really looked forward to, is to be able to kind of spotlight some of the cities in my district. And as you know, last time we had Lake Alfred on and showed some of the things that they have there, and a lot of unknown things. And this time we're going to get the opportunity to put the spotlight on Polk City, a beautiful little community in my district in northern Polk County. And I've got with us here today, of course, Mayor LaCascia, and I'm going to just kind of let him brag on his city a little bit.
Mayor,
okay.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you, and thank you, Commissioner. I always love the opportunity to speak about Polk City. I think that it's come a long way. I've only been here since 2008, so we're talking about recent history. But I think we've done a lot of good things, and I'll be happy to share that with you. I think we can almost be a kind of a symbol of what a good city can do.
Absolutely. So one of the good things I know you guys are doing right now is with the finances. Before it wasn't the best, but it's a little different now. You want to share a little bit about that?
Well, thank you. That's kind of an understatement. Yeah, prior to 2008, there were some bad finances going on. In 2010, a new commission came aboard, and we set about to restructure and refinance that. At the same time, we took on Patricia Jackson as city manager, whose job was to reduce government so we can save some money there, and she's done an incredible job. Right now, we're probably in the best shape financially that the city has been in for, I'm going to say, 10 years or so. So we're doing very well.
So why is it important to stay in the black and not the red?
Well, just as running your household, you know, or running anything or any type of business, the best place to be is to have some money. Money gives you options. And when you have options and you have good people and you're discussing those options, you can bring good things to the people, in this case, Polk City. One of the things, if I can talk about, it was recognized by a citizen of Polk City. It was a rancher and cowboy, Donald Bronson. Years ago, he didn't like what was going on in Polk City financially, and he didn't like the government, exactly what was going on. So he recognized where we had come from and come to, and he said, I would like to do something good for Polk City, and he built a $500,000 community center, but more importantly, a hurricane shelter for the folks in Polk City. A lot of them live in single-wides and double-wide mobile homes, and they would have to go to Lakeland or Auburndale if there was bad weather coming. So he recognized that, so that's what good people can do. People of good intentions, goodwill, do good things, other people recognize it, and that flows well to the city.
And I know that the building was named, or is named, after him. And what are some of the things that the building is going to be used for, in addition to being a hurricane shelter?
Well, the community center, we've used it for a few, Neil Comby used it for a get-together, a political get-together. We are host to the Polk Water Collaborative that's going on when they use it. We've only had it since August, so we're just kind of learning how to use it. But I'm sure it will be used for community functions.
Mm-hmm. And what are some of the other things that are going on within the city? I know, Commissioner Smith, you were telling me as well that you remember some sporting stuff that goes on there as well.
Absolutely. We had a son living in Lake Alfred. We had a son who was very active in sports, particularly baseball, youth baseball, and football and all these kind of things. And I remember many times driving him to Polk City to participate in events at a sports park, if you want to call it that, in Polk City. And it was a beautiful facility, and we always had a good time out there, and sometimes we won and sometimes we lost, but that's the way it goes. But that was a good, beautiful venue, and it's very important to young people growing up to have a place like that so they can come and play, and give them give them a place to kind of blow off some steam and to feel good about themselves and to build camaraderie and all those kind of things. So, yeah.
You'd be happy to see how it is used on the weekend basis, whether for Little League baseball or football. It's always jam-packed. So it's still being used as it was
Good.
when you were sending your children there and in your days.
Good.
Sounds wonderful. And Commissioner Smith, I know when we were speaking before this interview took place and stuff, you did mention a special place there. And we actually got a chance to head on out there. And I'm not going to tell you exactly where it is. You will find out in this video. So stay tuned for the video. And we'll be back with more discussion right after this.
Well, Polk City in 1800s, the farmers started clearing and developing land, and then in 1922, Mr. Van Horn, Isaac Van Horn, was down here traveling through Polk County and came through this area, and he fell in love with it in 1922 and decided he wanted to settle here and thought maybe he could dig for oil. So he started developers, he got developers in where we are now, downtown, and this became Polk City. In 1925, they incorporated. And as with any small city, you have your trials and tribulations with water and wastewater. And he decided he could not find oil, and he moved on. It's a very friendly town, and you don't have a lot of large businesses here. It's a lot of family. It's a family feeling when you come here to Polk City. One of the major attractions for Polk City is our Van Fleet Trail. They come from all over the state of Florida to take the trail. It goes all the way up to Lake County. We also have nearby that's got considered still Polk City is Fantasy of Flight. We stay in a small rural community, and it's great.
Down this road, I am told there is a place known as the best kept secret in Polk County. Well, we're here in Polk City, and coming up, we're going to find out where that place actually is. We're here at Camp Gilead, and I'm here with Mr. Ken Pritt. He's the executive director here. Welcome to the show, Ken.
Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate the opportunity.
No problem. So, I hear you guys are the best secret here in Polk County. Tell me why.
Absolutely. I'd like to be able to say that's not the case, but as we have opportunity to meet people every day here in Polk County, we find out they've never heard about Camp Gilead, even though we've been here since 1938.
1938, that's a while, and from what I understand, quite a number of people in high-profile positions actually came through this very camp. In fact, Commissioner Smith is one of them.
Yes, Commissioner Smith was one of our campers. Kelly Stargill, one of our state senators, was a camper here. Circuit Court judges, sitting judges today.
So what are some of the activities one can enjoy here?
Well, a big thing for us is the waterfront that you see here behind us. Everybody enjoys it. We do archery, paintball, we do BB guns, tomahawks. We do things that youth cannot do in their playground at school or at home.
How does this camp help people in Polk County, people who live here or near Polk County?
We believe that the Bible can help build character, and that character helps build good citizens. And part of our vision statement is by those persons taking that next spiritual step, it will strengthen them, strengthen their family, and strengthen their churches. And when we have strengthened families and strengthened churches, we believe that our community is strengthened.
Thank you, Ken, for joining me, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Kevin, God bless you and thank you. I
God
appreciate
bless.
the opportunity.
Thank you. So, Mayor LaCascia, the vision of Polk City. Polk City shall embody peace and serenity while promoting growth to sustain an effective quality of life through responsible leadership, and your mission is we provide responsive municipal services and manage public assets to enhance the quality of life for our community while respecting our rich environmental resources.
Kind of says it all, doesn't it?
It sure does.
I think part of the good that came from the the reorganization, if you will, of not only the governance, but the financings. It gave the people of Polk City a sense, it restored their integrity and self-respect. We became good neighbors in the community, not only to the county, but Lakeland and Auburndale as well. We are not recognized as being kind of second cousins anymore. I think we participate in everything in the Ridge League of Cities. And all of that enriches for every citizen what they can see in their city. And when they're proud of their city, the city bodes well for the city. And I think that's what all of those words mean.
Great. And you know, it is a very small place. Like when I first moved to the area, I would just drive past it on I-4, and you know, within a few minutes, you're beyond Polk City and on to the next. But Polk City does like to stay small. They
do. The first thing I learned being a newcomer to Polk City is I wanted to find out a little bit about who the Polk City people were. And I spent an 8 to 10 hour tour with our sheriff, and he had me, the deputy, and he drove me all over, and I met a lot of people. And they made it very clear that they want growth slowly, they want evolution, they don't want revolution. They cling to the old town horse. I'll call it horse and buggy, though it is evolved from a technology standpoint. But for the most part, that's what they want. They want to be quiet. Many of them have horses and ranchers out there along 33, and that's what they want, to kind of be left alone. There's slow growth. Hungry Howie's has bought some property and is building some commercial buildings right there on 33 across from Country Angels, which everybody seems to know. So it's coming slowly, and that's the way they want it, and we respect that.
And now, is there anything either of you want to add about the city at all?
Well, I'm sure they've just looked at one of the best kept secrets in Polk County and one of the gems, Camp Gilead. And I want to talk a couple of minutes about Camp Gilead. As I said, I was a camper there for, I think, 2 summers, as a matter of fact. And those are wonderful memories. And the kids that go there now and the campers that show up there now, they have got some memories that will last them for a lifetime. The camaraderie they get there, and the playing in sports, and you choose up teams, and of course your team's the best. I don't care which one it is, but that's the best one. And I learned to swim out there. I certainly learned to play softball a lot better, and I can't remember whether we had volleyball or not. I can't remember that, but there were just a lot of sports and swimming and canoeing and just all sorts of things. And you know, this was back in the mid '50s, and at that time they weren't the beautiful housings they have now, the dormitories that they sleep in. We had old wooden buildings that looked like something in a World War II movie, you know, and they had big flaps around the side that you opened up and screens over it. But it was a wonderful time. Like I said, those are memories for a lifetime.
Well, just adding on to what he said, when I said before that we have brought some integrity and self-respect, well, along with integrity and self-respect, I think Camp Gilead brought the spirituality. And I think when you integrate those qualities together, you can't have anything but a great city. The spirituality, the self-respect, the integrity. People think well of their city. It can grow, and it can grow well. And I think that's what we've all accomplished here.
Yeah.
Thank you, Commissioner Smith and Mayor LaCascia, for joining us here on the Commissioner's Report for this February's edition. Any last things?
Well, thank you very much, Kevin, and I appreciate doing this show. And Mayor, I want to thank you very much for coming and being what do I say? An ambassador for your city, and we're very proud of Polk City.
I appreciate those kind words. Not only I accept them on behalf of Polk City. It's always a pleasure being with you, Commissioner Smith, and I look forward to speaking about Polk City. Anytime you guys want to have me, you let me know and I'll be back. Thank you very much.
Sounds wonderful. So that's it for this edition of the Commissioner's Report. Next month, we'll be back again.